What up, Doe, and welcome to the One Pride Podcast. We talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and in today's show, that's what we're going to do here, and it's going to be a lot involving training camp. Why is that? Well, because we're 2 days away from the rookies going to training camp and 5 days away from the veterans making it there, and guess what, folks? When it's training camp, let the games begin all the way into the Super Bowl as we are heading for the 2024/5 NFL season. We're all stoked. We're all excited. Obviously, Lions fans are stoked. Lions fans are excited. Why is that? Because training camp is sold out already. Unbelievable. The Lions have sold out all tickets to training camp. Clearly, Lions fans are super excited for this year. I am. Everybody is out there. And you can feel it. You can feel the momentum for this football team. A lot of people are feeling like this could be the year that the Detroit Lions make it to and win a Super Bowl. And so the fans are super jacked. They want to go see him in training camp. It's going to be epic for sure. So are you guys going to the training camp? Let me know right now in the comment section. We got FF2MV. P in the comment section, Vash Star, my man Vash, Bo Booth, Chrome, Big M, Dragon Fan, Tim, Shane Smith, Kurt Kasprick, and Phil, welcome. And while everybody else slowly jumps on in there, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. And let's get to as much likes as we possibly get. That'd be great to actually get to 100. It's been a minute because we've been in the lull period for a couple months. But that's going to be ending here very, very shortly. And I don't know about you guys. What's up, Lion Rumble, man? See you in the building. You got to get a hold of me on FB one of these days. I'll get up on there with your pod. Sean, what's up there out of New York? But I would love to come to training camp. Doubtful it's going to happen now. Yeah, you ain't going to be able to go to it now. What's good? Scotticus 4-3. Chrome in the building as well. One important thing, though. Now, they do have Family Day at Ford Field. They do have a scrimmage at Ford Field. That's Family Day scrimmage. It's free to get in there, and you get to watch a scrimmage for the Lions before the playoff or before the preseason. So in that one, it has to be no way that's sold out because it's Ford Field, and there's 66,000 seats. And generally speaking, when I go to Family Day, I mean, it's maybe a quarter full at the most. So if you're really wanting to do it, you can do that, or you can just go to a preseason game in which is expensive. You're going to pay for it, but you get to see the Detroit Lions, and that's all it's about. Scotticus, like the name there, in the building. We got Villain Squad. Let's go. Let's get him to 200 likes. That would be great for show to get to 200 likes. So let's get into training camp. Let's get into what we need to be looking for, at least in my opinion, for the Lions here. So training camp, many things that we got to talk about, what we got to be watching this year. And there's a lot of camp battles. There's a lot of pressure and what's going to break out. I think for me, looking at how the secondary is going to be compiled with the defensive backs is one thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing and at least hearing about from training camp is who is going to be where. Now, I totally believe right now that Carlton Davis, Terran Arnold are 1 and 2. I don't think it's really in doubt. But when it comes to the nickel cornerback, Brian Branch, you got Amik Robertson, safety, Melfanu, Kirby Joseph, who is going to be out there at what position? We all know these guys are going to be out there. We just don't really know where they're going to fit in the secondary because they're so new. So that's one thing that I'm looking for, just where players are going to be. Right now, Meek is labeled at the nickel cornerback position. You look at the depth chart there, and Brian Branch is a strong safety. Futu, Melfanu, Kirby Joseph are in there. So I think they're all going to get their time. We just don't really know how. And we may not know for a while, too. I mean, literally, this could be something Aaron Glenn's cooking up throughout the season is how they switch it up. But at least we'll be able to see some practices and get somewhat of an idea of what's taking place right there. So that's one of the things I'm looking for. Hendon Hooker and his development for QB2 is probably one of the biggest things that we got to be watching for this training camp in preseason. How effective he is, from practice to practice, and then obviously in the preseason. This guy needs all the snaps in the world because he hasn't He hasn't done anything yet, right? We drafted him. He gets injured, or he was injured last year when we drafted. We were just going to let him sit back and kind of redshirt. And now he did that, so now we want to see what we got from this third-round pick. And I think he's going to be pretty good. But, look, it's absolutely going to be something a work in progress every practice. You just got to get better and better. It just takes time. That's all it takes is time, reps, and his ability to learn from the next day. So that's one thing. Phil says Stephen Gilmore. Yeah, look, Stephen Gilmore I don't think makes the team now because, look, if you look at the corners, there's some big names on here. Now, I think Stephen Gilmore will make the practice squad, but he barely made the 53 last year, and the Lions upgraded the corners, so I think that he's a practice squatter now. I think it's going to be really difficult for him to make the 53-man roster. Khalil Dorsey's a special teamer. Emmanuel Mosley, they signed to a one-year deal. We'd go through all the names. But I like Stephen Gilmore. Phil, you already know that. I wanted him to get some playing time last year. That's probably not going to happen now. But I can't wait to see preseason what he does because I do like him for sure. Other things that we're looking forward to, obviously, is the battle between Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes. I want to see who's going to win that one. Jack Campbell, the 18th pick in last year's draft. We've heard a lot in OTAs and minicamp that he has really progressed as we expect, right? But Derek Barnes progressed a lot last year as well, was playing really well, got the interception to take us to the NFC Championship game. So that's going to be fun to watch. I don't think whoever loses it doesn't really lose. They're going to get playing time regardless, but it's probably just who gets majority of a snaps a game. So they're both going to be playing, all three, Alex Anzalone as well. I'm sure you'll see Malcolm out there too at points, but just to see who wins that battle for sure. The defensive line, I think, is probably my number one here. And, you know, what's going to happen opposite of Hutch? You know, who's going to be there? Marcus Davenport, you know, when it comes to what he is coming from free agency, from the Minnesota Vikings and New Orleans Saints. Can he step up? Joshua Pascal, third year. Does he take the third-year jump? We all hope so. That's important to see. When it comes to DJ Reader, just when he's ready to get on the field. You know, he was dealing with injury last year for the Bengals. He's a veteran. I am not worried at all about his reps. What he does is pretty straightforward in getting to the quarterback, but stopping the run on the way. It's just more injury when he's healthy. You know, how is he progressing there? I think all the players too. Brian Branch dealing with some issues. Kirby Joseph was dealing with some issues. So, you know, how are these injured players dealing with it? Defensive line, again, extremely important. Mitchell Argud, is he going to come in here and he's going to help out? Is he going to help out? So a lot of questions right there. Then obviously wide receiver battle. Who takes 3? I think it's going to be Kalif Raymond. So I'm almost to the point of saying Kalif Raymond's already got the 3. It's who takes number 5 or 6 at this point. Because I do think it's going to be St. Brown 1, Jamo 2, Kalif 3, Donovan Peoples-Jones 4. 5, you know, we just got to see, right? We is it going to be Antoine Green, right? So is it going to be Daurice Fountain? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Isaiah Williams? Is it going to be somebody else? You know, so there you go. So those are the big battles for the Detroit Lions training camp coming up. We got a question here, and of course I'm going to definitely take this one because first off, I made a video on it yesterday, and so when you make a video on something, you're probably going to have to take some answers to these. Matthew Judon would be a cherry on the top for defense, and we need him. Yeah, so I did a rumor video yesterday talking about Matthew Judon as well as Brandon Ayuk, and I explained that we're not going to get Brandon Ayuk. That's not in the realm of possibility. But if Judon were to be expendable, and we don't really know, right? That could be a situation. The Lions could take a shot, right? He was injured last year, played in 4 games, had 4 sacks, 10 solo tackles, and so he was productive. But he's almost 32 years old. He's 31. He'll be 32 in 2 or 3 months. So that's quite a bit. He's got 2 years left on his deal, approximately $15 to $16 million a year for those 2 years. So if the Lions were to trade for him, you know, that's what you got to deal with right there. Now, I don't know If they get him. What's up, Monty? Thank you so much for watching the video. I don't know if they get him, but I think that is actually in the realm of possibility because he's a veteran. It's going to be low cost. We got the money for the 2 years, and it would not cost a lot to get him with draft picks. The Lions currently got 7 draft picks. The Lions could throw a 6 or, a 6th-round pick or something like that or get something flipped. You know how it works. That's in the realm of possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it's in the realm of possibility, especially if nobody really shows out on this defensive line 2-3 weeks into training camp. And again, I wouldn't think anything would happen with that for even probably into preseason, right? So, because they really want to test their guys out, and I concur with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. 100%. Don't make a move. See what you got. There's always somebody that can step up, and you just never know. So, yeah, 100%. I mean, it could. It's in the realm. Do I think it will? I say it's less than 50 for sure. We got to see first. If they do good in training camp with their own guys, there's absolutely zero reason to do it. If it is the same old, then you could, right? So that is an option. Also, an option would be a Haason Reddick, and I do think he would be available because even though the Jets traded for him, he's not happy. So, I mean, there's options even before the trade deadline. I'm not saying any of that's going to happen. I'm just saying that is something that could happen. Now, the Brandon Ayuk stuff, it is out of the realm of possibility. If you've seen my video, I broke it down. The draft capital is too much. The money is too much. Him and St. Brown would take up so much cap. In year 3, it would be over 22% of the cap with 2 players. Remember, you just extended Penei Sewell, Jared Goff. You would be screwed. So, and then you got to think about Aiden Hutchinson in the future players like Ali McNeil. So that's not going to happen. So, and if it did, that would be, okay, let's just go ahead and release like 10 players, right? At some point down the road. So I don't see that to realm. And that's why I made that video, because so I don't know if you guys know, but I get hit up quite a bit on Facebook, DM on Twitter, and obviously in the comment section. And I see it. That's why I make it, to let you know that I do not believe that's going to be the case, or I do believe it's the case. I give you my thoughts. I have no insider information on anything like this. I'm just going off economics. I'm going off what Brad Holmes has done in the past and just how they built this team, and they've done it the right way. They have. There was so much pressure, even from me in the trade deadline last year, to get an edge rusher, and they still didn't do it. So clearly, Brad Holmes trusts the process. That is for sure. We got here, we said, I heard that DJ Reader could miss all of training camp and maybe week. I didn't hear about a week or 1 or week 2, D-Ray. I heard that he could miss a couple weeks in training camp. But look, if he even misses a week or 2, it is what it is. I think the Lions' defensive line is good. He's really good at stopping the run, but we're already good at stopping the run. I think the Lions could handle it a few games if he didn't play. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. I don't. I think he should be good to go for sure. I really, truly do. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that is my current belief. Where is a realistic spot for Brandon Ayuk? I'll give you a couple places. The New York Jets, I really do believe they could be making a trade for a Brandon Ayuk or a Devontae Adams because they want to make a Super Bowl, right? They got their one. This is basically 1 year less of Aaron Rodgers, so they're probably going to go all in. And if you believe it's his last year, you got to go all in. So that could be an option. The Carolina Panthers have booty cheeks of wide receivers. If they were smart, they would look to get a wide receiver because the last thing that you want is Bryce Young to completely fall off a cliff. You got to give this guy weapons. You drafted him with the first pick in the draft. You're the worst team last year. You didn't even have the first overall pick, so you better get some talent. So that's an option right there for them. I see Ayuk to the Bears, just my opinion. That's possible, right? If the Bears really wanted to do that. I actually don't think it'd be smart for them to do that because they have dished out a lot of gigantic contracts as of late. But they could, right? They could. That's just they're different than the Lions. So Brad probably laughed a tail off when he saw the ridiculous trade scenario. Brent, I'm with you. I'm sure he laughed his tail off as well, right? I mean, sometimes you just got to look at it critically, you know, how, and to not be upset either. I think we can't be upset at fans who do think, oh, it could happen. A lot of Lions fans, unlike you guys who watch videos every day, there's a lot of Lions fans that don't pay attention to, you know, the daily data operations. So, you know, when they hear something, they could think it's real, right? So that's why I put it out there and I explain it why it's not going to happen. So, you know, I don't ever get mad at fans or anything to say that, oh, it's going to happen. Because, hell, we really, you know, it's a legit question. So I have no problem with that. So is Hutchinson okay? It was Hayden Hutchinson's not injured, folks. He's not injured at all. Here it is. I spoke to Spenmo Rex and Speakeasy. Kirby Joseph is not happy about that. Okay, he heard about that. It's not true. It was his friend. Okay, Kirby Joseph's word is, this is bullshit. Okay, so that is his word. I just did it. This is, quote, this is bullshit / Kirby Joseph. Insider, everything's fine when it comes to Hayden Hutchinson. Okay, Ayuk to the Commanders. That's another one good shift, God, for sure. That is out of the realm of possibility. The Commanders are a team that's in building, and that's a great, you know, young quarterback right there. If they wanted to go that route, they absolutely could. You're correct. I think that would be an option. Let's see. It's like people that don't pay attention to the real life, but they believe everything told them by a suit on their TV. Hey, right? It's 100%. And we see that with media or anything else. So I never get upset about it at all. So you can always ask questions, even if you think it's a dumb question. Don't hesitate. I may laugh for a little bit or something like that, because how many times do I laugh at myself? So if I laugh at a question, I've laughed at myself 10 billion times. Don't take it personal. I clown myself probably more than anybody clowns anybody. And I'm going to tell you something really funny, so you can go ahead and clown me. I was at my lady's friend last night, I was going to stay overnight. Super excited, you know. So I'm there, it's 10:30 at night, sitting down, going to watch a TV show. Oh, crap. I don't have my sleeping pills. Oh, crap. I left my wallet at home, like a DA. All right, so, and I laughed at myself. I mocked myself, so it is what it is. We all got to do it. We all got to have thick skin and laugh about dumb things. It's no big deal. It's no one perfect. I sure as hell ain't perfect. I have a hard time just walking with my back, so go ahead and tear it up. Let's see. Are you going to training camp or any games this year? Training camp? No, not going. And I know a lot of people wanted me to go this year. It will not be happening this year. Games, yes, I will be at games this year. Just too much of a transition right now with Lions Nation Unite. We're trying to get all the content creators on there, and I want to get it done as fast as humanly possible. That is where all of my efforts are really going. So, no, I'm not going to be at training camp. We're trying to get that up. And best believe, you know, Everything King's going to be there. Dosa Dion, Speakeasy, Spenmo Rex, all those guys, they can give you updates at training camp on Lions Nation Unite, obviously in Woodward Sports in their own personal channel. So that's what we're trying to get done for you guys. We're really trying. So that's just what it is. Yeah, 100%, Shane. 100%. Life's too short not to laugh. 110%. I was irritated. I was pretty irritated, and I don't get that angry, but I was irritated, man. And when I got home, then I laughed. I laughed my butt off. You know, I thought it was dumb, but it is what it is. And see, 3 things that I'm focused on in training camp: preseason, Hooker, Davenport secondary, chemistry. What's yours? Brett DeWitt. It's exactly it. You are lockstep again, like it always is, and you and Lisa De Lorenzo and Curtis Steele, we seem to have, and Vash Sarwood, love that. A lot of these guys got very similar, but I agree with you. Those are what I'm looking for as well. Chemistry is a good one. I like that you put it in there. Secondary chemistry, most importantly. How fast are these guys going to get together? Because remember, they're all not really from this is all new to them. Carlton Davis was in Tampa Bay. Terrion Arnold was in Alabama. Meek Robertson was in Vegas. That's quite a bit of turnover, right? And Brian Branch is probably moving. They're probably moving positions with some of these safeties and nickel corners. So, yeah, we got a couple. Hopefully, Emmanuel Moseley. He should be good to go. He should know the playbook, right? Right. You got Khalil Dorsey, who's been here too, that knows the playbook. These guys can help. Kind of speed up the process for everybody, and especially for like the rookies, right? The Ennis Rakestraw. Terrion Arnold's coming on quick, really quick, and it's really good to see. But yeah, definitely. Will Vaki make an immediate impact on special teams? Yes, he will make an immediate impact on special teams. Immediate. I think that's where he's going to be at. I think he's already made the team, in my opinion. Okay, I know that's crazy. I don't care. This is my opinion. I'm going to say it. I think he's going to be special for special teams, and you're going to see him on occasions on offense because he's got really soft hands. That's why I made a video. This is the guy that not a lot of people are talking about, and I wanted to kind of spot it because I think he is going to make an impact. Even though he's not the first-round pick, a second-round pick, he's not the third-round pick, fourth-round pick, yes, right? So he's going to make some sort of an impact. You know what? While we're doing this, we're just going to go ahead and get this thing started right now. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to start the mailbag segment right now. And let me get this thing started here for you guys. This is the mailbag segment, okay? I'm recording. This is recording for a video. It's just FYI. Folks, welcome to the mailbag segment where we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. We're going to take your questions, and we're going to give it answers. Let's this thing get started right now. We are here for the mailbag segment. We take your questions, and we're going to answer it right now. So go ahead and throw it in the comment section. If I miss it, I am going to go after it. Let me switch this because there we go. Now I can see. I predict the start of the season 6-0, even with rookies. That would be a hell of a start. James Janella, and I truly hope that is the case. Oh, bye, Phil. Have a good lunch break. The depth at corner, nickel, is very impressive. I am hopeful that they can live up to the expectations. I think they will live up to the expectations. I think they're going to be very good. Are you on 96.1 today on Thursday while I'm recording this? I haven't got a message yet. It's only 1:30. They sometimes will message me right before, so yet to be seen. We'll just yet to be seen. They hit me up. They say, hey, Mike, can you get on? And I say yay or nay. If they hit it, I will for sure. Mike, who are your 3 veteran defensive players on the top of your head that is realistic for us that will make an impact? Veteran defensive players that will make an impact. Aiden Hutchinson, we already know that, right? He's going to make an impact, who is a veteran. Great, right? I think that's what he's going to do. I think that Carlton Davis is going to make an impact for the Lions. I know a lot of people don't talk about him. I think he's going to make a significant impact. I truly do. We talk about Terrion Arnold, we talk about Amik, we talk about Ennis, we talk about Emmanuel, but Carlton Davis is our number 1 corner right now. I think he makes an impact. And, you could go with, we know DJ Reader's going to make an impact, right? We know what he's going to do, and I want to put Lee McNeil on this list, though, ahead of him, because I think DJ's going to take some double teams. It's going to open it up for Lee McNeil, and I think he's going to make a significant impact. So those would be probably my 3 players that I think that are going to make a real impact. Like, these guys are going to be pretty darn good. It'd be Aiden Hutchinson being 1. I think Lee McNeil's probably 2, and then you go Carlton Davis. 4 veterans. We all like Alex Anzalone. We know what he brings to the table. We know what a lot of these guys bring, but let's switch it up with someone who we don't talk about as much. In the comment section right now, name a player on the defense who you believe is going to be a defensive impact. Next question here. Hashtag FGB, what is the name of potential surprise that doesn't make this roster? Great question. Run DMG. Well, here's a couple players that I think it's, there could be questions. I do think that they probably make the roster. I think question marks here. Craig Reynolds, right? He's battling it out with Sione Vaki. I think he makes the roster, but that is a question mark. Emmanuel Moseley, he is a veteran. That is a question mark, right? We think he makes it. But he legit could not make it, right? There's really possibility, especially if he's not fully healthy for some reason or he's not picking it up. So that's individual. Jason Kabinda, I don't think he makes the team. He's more of a special teamer, in my opinion. Let's go here on offense. Who's a player that, okay, this one is really good. James Mitchell, the tight end. This is year 3. I don't think he makes the roster. I'm just saying it right now. I think he is not the guy who makes the roster for the tight end position. I think it goes Shane Zylstra. Question here, Lions, who has more interceptions this year, Davis or Arnold? Oof, man, you guys are coming up with some fire ones for sure. Let me go with, I'll go with Terry and Arnold. I'll go with Terry and Arnold because I think that Carlton Davis will be one, so maybe you'll get a little bit more action towards Arnold's way because he is a rookie. He gets more interceptions. That's all I'll go. Who do you think will step up other side of Hutch, or do you think they'll trade for someone later? I'm going to name a name here that you don't hear about. Mitchell Argud. I think he's going to go in there, and he's going to make an impact and make this team. We don't talk about him enough, but I think that is a sleeper right there. I do think it is a sleeper. Lions, who has more interceptions this year? Oh, I already did that one. Sorry about that. Pundits, what do you think about split in carries between David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs? After Gibbs' great rookie year, I think it should be 60-40. 60 Jahmyr Gibbs, 40% David Montgomery. I like them both. Just a little bit more for Jahmyr. Other than that, I do want to see split carries because I want to see both these players fresh for the playoffs. I'm not too worried a whole lot about regular season stats at this point. I want to get to the playoffs, and I want to get to a Super Bowl. We got to have some fresh legs for these guys. Hashtag F to Bears. If, and that's a big if, Arnold doesn't start, big one, is Amik starting, or we open the season starting Stafford? Nah, he's the starter. Terran Arnold's already number 2. He's already the guy. There is no if, unless he's injured. That would be it. And then it would be Amik. But he's going to be starting unless injury. It's not going to be anything else. He is the starter. Name a surprise 53-man cut. I could do it again. So I said James Mitchell already, Emmanuel Mosley, Craig Reynolds, who I do think makes the team. But, he's on that cusp right there. Who is another one that potentially couldn't make the team? I think that's really it, right? I think Levi's making the team. I don't think he's on the cusp anymore. So, Emmanuel, those 3, that's what I'm going to go with. That's really it. I think James Houston makes the team, by the way. Lions, is James Houston getting any snaps at inside linebacker? He could. I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to focus on what he's going to do as a pass rusher. And he's got to work on the problem is he has issues stopping the run, and so that's why he's more of just kind of the pass rusher. If you throw him there linebacker, if he does better stopping the run, okay, but he's had issues there. So I'm going to say no. So who do we play in the Super Bowl? I already got this. I got Houston Texans, Detroit Lions. I think that would be an epic Super Bowl. I think that would be fun, for sure. Other than that, realistically, Kansas City Chiefs, Lions, I don't want to see that because I'm tired of seeing a Patrick Mahomes in that freaking Super Bowl, so I'd like to see something else. So I'm going to go Texans, Lions. How early is the season how early in the season do we lock up the number 1 seed? Oh, I think that's week 17. It's going to come down to week 17. We face San Francisco. I think that game will determine if we're number 1 seed or the number 3 seed, because San Francisco is going to have a good record as well. And man, you got to beat them, right? You can't. They would have you would have to have a better record than the San Francisco 49ers, because even the same record, if they beat us, they get the number 1 seed. So I'll say week 17. Will Ifutu Melifonwu make the cut? Absolutely will. He was playing like an all-pro. If the Lions cut Ifutu Melifonwu, the Carolina Panthers would put a claim for him. He would be a stud. So, yeah, he not only makes the cut, he's a starter. Let's see here. What do you set Jameson Williams' yards, touchdowns this season? I think he can get to like 800 to 900 yards, maybe 7 touchdowns. I think that's kind of where he's going to be at. St. Brown probably around 15 to even 1,600 yards, right? Then Jamo right in that ilk. Let's see. Hashtag Lions, besides Goff, which player can we at least afford to lose to injury? Oof. Aiden Hutchinson. Because we don't really have a question mark right now of like who's the opposite of him. You lose Aiden Hutchinson, and that would be devastating to the Lions' defensive line. It would hurt us big time. You lost him, that would suck. That would really suck. Number 2 would be Penei Sewell. You lose Penei Sewell, you're in a world of hurt. Those guys are literally cornerstones of this team. Those 3 guys are integral. Let's see. How many players are allowed on game day? 53, plus you have an extra quarterback. Let's see. Who's the NFC favorite of Ayuk is traded? I don't know what the odds are. I think that I don't really know what the odds are, but just by me going through it, the Jets has to be up there. The Carolina Panthers have to be up there. Somebody said the Washington Commanders. I do agree. That would be up there too. I forgot who said that in the chat. You guys are 100% correct. Those would be the teams that I'm looking at. Maybe, what if the Raiders trade Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams unhappy, but that's not an NFC team. So Jets not an NFC team. The Bears, somebody said the Bears, that's a possibility. Those would be my choices right there, what I think. Let's see, what record do you think we have in our division? I'm going to go with 4-2. I think that's a pretty good record, right? We split. I say we split with the Bears, and we split with the Packers, and we, again, beat on the Vikings. I think both those teams are better, the Packers and the Bears. Let's see. Do you think Monty and Gibbs both have 1,000 yards rushing? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go on here and say, yeah, that's a bold prediction, and I agree. I think they both will get 1,000 yards rushing. In the comment section right now, why for yes and for no? Will these both get 1,000 yards rushing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Why is everyone underrating Donovan Peoples-Jones? He'll be a factor. I'm not underrating Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jonathan. I've been talking about Donovan Peoples-Jones all offseason, for sure. To say Kalif Raymond's ahead of him, the depth chart's not at all underrating. Kalif Raymond's really good. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think he'll get about 500 yards this year. He's going to fill in that Josh Reynolds role. I think he does. Look, Josh Reynolds had a big role last year, right? And it's big shoes to fill. And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is right there to do it. A lot of I didn't even put him on the outs. I don't think at all. He's already made the roster, in my opinion. I think he's going to be having a significant impact. Which team is favored to win the NFC? Is Ayuk is traded? I don't know which team is favored by Vegas. I don't have the number on me right now. I feel like the Lions and Bears will make the playoffs. Agree or disagree? I think that the Packers will make the playoffs. I think the Bears could. They'll be close. I think they're going to be like a 9 to a 10 win football team. That's kind of where I got the Bears, and that's going to be close. I'll just say the Packers, though. I'll say they just squeak out of it. But they'll be in the conversation for the wild card. Do you think that we roll with 3 or 4 running backs on game day? It really depends on injury front. If Jahmyr Gibbs is injured, yes, right? If Monty is injured, yes. And it's hard for me to say what Vaki really is. He just a running back? He's a special teamer, so he's going to be activated, right? He's going to be special teams. And, of course, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be playing. So, and Craig Reynolds will be activated. So I'll say 3.5, right? Vaki, just depending on what he's going to be activated because he has special teams, but how much is he going to contribute on game day? It'll probably be game to game. Because remember, I think he's going to have some plays on game day because he's a theoretic type of running back. So not necessarily like as a running back, but a weapon. So I'll go with 4, but 3.5 because I kind of consider him multi-dimensional at this point. How many rushing yards total this year? Oof. Oof. That's a good one. I'll go with 2,125 rushing yards, and that would include Craig Reynolds. That would include Jared Goff. That would include anybody that takes the running game. So anybody that runs with the football. So that's all. St. Brown too. He runs with the football. So that's just all of them together, not just the running back position. Lions, is Aaron Glenn last shot in Detroit? I think, I don't know if it's last shot. I think he's got to prove himself. The defense got to take a step forward. Here's the thing. If the defense is 20s and below, I think he's done right after this year. If it's in the teens, I think he's fine. I think that's where it kind of should be. If he's anything above that, he's sticking. He may be his last year because he becomes a head coach, right? So, because him and Ben Johnson have been getting looks the last couple of years. There you go. That's kind of where I got it for there. So let's continue on with this. You got 3K running. Ooh, that's a lot of rushing. But, hey, that means, look, the Lions get 3,000 yards rushing. We're winning a ton of games this year, folks. A ton of games, because that's a ton of rushing yards. So I hope so, man. I hope so. Let's see. I think it's a mistake that so many people are predicting all of Martin, Betts, Houston, Pascal, Davenport will be busts. I don't think anybody is saying this. I don't think Broderick Martin is a bust. I think he just needs to develop, right? Let's see. Who's the other player? James Houston was injured last year. That doesn't at all make him a bust. Matthew Betts, that's not considered a bust when he is just a free agent pickup just trying to make the roster. We'll just see what he's got left from the USFL. Pascal, this is year 3. He could make that jump just like Derek Barnes, and if he did, so that's not at all saying it's a bust. Davenport, he's got stuff to prove. I want to say it's a bust, but he has to prove it there. Seriously, he's got to prove it. Levan Wuzurike, not at all. I think he's going to be part of this team this year, so I don't know who's saying that they're all busts. I wouldn't say they're all busts. Not everybody is going to be blue-chip players on an NFL team, and that's okay. That's really okay. You got to have players that are depth and rotation, and those are not bad. To say a depth or rotation is bad is ridiculous. Remember we had the wide 9? That defensive line was rotating a lot. That was epic, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to have great depth everywhere. Not everyone's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. Not everyone's going to be Nick Bosa, Max Crosby. That's just not realistic. So to say that they are not great doesn't mean they're busts at all. To me, a bust is what I think a bust, I think is somebody you draft early on in a draft, right? We're talking like a top 10 draft pick or even a top 20, right? And then these guys end up sucking balls. They do nothing. And it's just an absolute train wreck. That's what I think about a bust. Maybe even in round 2, right? You take a player in round 2 that you expect and they do absolutely nothing. But if you're talking round 3, a bust, man, look, it's hard to get every pick. It's not going to happen. It's not realistic. No general manager is going to do it. So, I think they've done a phenomenal job. So, no, I don't think any of them was a bust. If you want to think of, the last bust that I could think of is probably Jeffrey Okudah. I think that was a bust, right? You could do Ryan Broyles, I guess, Michael Ashore, but those were injuries. Dude, even, we picked up Javid Best, and I don't consider him a bust. He was just more concussions, right? He was actually really good. Charles Rogers is a bust. I think that, you can go down the line. It's hard for me even to say anybody that really Brad Holmes is drafted as a bust. Way too early to even say anything. Give a player 3 years, folks. Holy moly. I think James Mitchell, he was a round 5 pick, okay? And now we're saying he's probably not going to make the team. So if we're complaining about a round 5, a third year round 5 pick, that's awesome. Yay, that means you've done something magnificent. So no, I'm not going to say any of these dudes are busts. Let's see. We will all have pieces in place. It's down to execution at this point. Yep. Execution and collaboration and getting together as one unit, at least for the secondary. The offense is already like that. They got a little wrinkles they got to work out, right? You didn't have Josh Reynolds. But all in all, generally the same people are back. Same thing with the defense. There's a lot of same. So the continuity's there. It's going to make the adjustment much better. More the adjustment is the secondary. I think Kelvin Shepard will replace Aaron Glenn eventually. Yeah, 100%. I love Shepard. He would be my replacement, right? So if Aaron Glenn is not here next year, whether he makes, he becomes a head coach or he just doesn't come back, Kelvin Shepard would be the ideal replacement, right? How many yards do you think LaPorta will get this year? I think he'll get, I'll go with 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. Sam LaPorta, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, all-pro tight end. He's just that good. He's just that good. How many yards do you think that LaPorta will get this year? I repeated what I just said. Quintus Cephas was a huge bust. Wasn't he like a fifth or sixth round pick? I'll never say somebody's a bust in the like fifth or sixth round. That's just like, it's like a toss-up. I think, did he, I know he got signed by some team, then they released him. I don't know if he got picked up by another team. I couldn't tell you, but, generally speaking, the years a player is in the NFL is 3. That is the average year a player is in the NFL is 3. And that is the facts of the situation. And so a lot of players don't make it in the NFL, and that's okay. My guy, Brandon Mason, love him. He played for the Jets, Giants, Miami Dolphins. A good buddy of mine. Talked to him on the phone a lot. Okay? I don't consider him a bust because he had, he dealt with an injury that he just couldn't get past. Just those things, man. Hell, it's life. My back was destroyed in the Army. My spine, from top down all the way down, was destroyed. I was 8 years in the Army, and, I don't consider that really being a bust. My body gave out, right? And NFL players, they've been doing this stuff since elementary, a lot of these guys, and so that's a lot of physical abuse. You get to the NFL where it's the most, you're going to get beat up, and it's the way it is, man. That's why I never got upset with Megatron retiring. He was physically destroyed. Okay, I never got upset when Barry retired. I never got upset if I remember watching Amon-Ra St. Brown in receiver. He didn't want to take a hit after he really was banged up. I'm not going to get upset about that. Like, protect your body. Protect your body. Cam Newton was just talking about Richards, the quarterback from the Indianapolis Colts. I just watched his pod yesterday talking about he called him up and called up Anthony Richards and says, hey, bro, you need to slide. And he's like, no, I got to show up for my team. And Cam Newton goes, no, because availability is the best ability. I love that. And I think that's great, right? I mean, he's got beat up too. So, and Frank Ragnow, if he would have retired, I wouldn't have been upset with Frank Ragnow at all. I totally get it, man. And that's why I give Levi Onwuzurike the biggest props of anyone on this football team. This man, young age, had a spine fusion like I did. Okay? And I didn't think there's no way coming back from it because for my spine fusion, it was devastating. Curtis Steele had a spine fusion. It was devastating. This man came back, made the roster, and now he's proven from it. It's unbelievable. Right? What he did there is absolutely unbelievable. And, I give him, I think his mentality and his strength of his brain is bar none, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. You got to love it, right? If he were to retire, if Levi and Onwuzurike decide, I'm going to retire in a year or two, I'd be like, I cannot believe he lasted that long. Like, this dude he can deal with pain the likes that I haven't seen before. Do you understand the pain that you deal with a fusion? Now, it does correct the issue. It 100 does. But it makes, say, if you fused three vertebrae together. Instead of having three vertebrae, you have basically one gigantic vertebrae. That's what a fusion is. And so I can't look up anymore. This is as far as my head goes up because it's fused. I legitimately cannot look up. I cannot go that way anymore. So for him to have a fusion, I don't know what part of his spine he had it, but I knew it took me a year to even just get to normal capacity. I couldn't even move my arms. I had to start from zero. Zero, like a baby. I kid you not, my ex-wife had to bathe me. I could not use, for about a month, half of my, I legitimately was having issues feeling my body for a month. And it took a year of rehab to do one push-up. Okay, so for him to go through such an extensive surgery, back-breaking surgery, literally, and after that, get in and play in the NFL is effing unbelievable. I think so highly of Levi and Muzrik, and if he sees this or hears this, dude, you're amazing, man. I really do appreciate you. Oh, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much. And any veterans out there, thank you for your service as well. I do appreciate you. Matthew Stafford was actually a bust, too. Yeah, I said it. Stafford a bust? With the first overall pick, let's go ahead and look at first overall picks, because I don't even have the list on me. Let's talk about first overall. So he was a first overall pick. I think he's won a Super Bowl. He's broken records. You look at was Sam Darnold the first overall pick? I don't know. I think he's like a bust, right? RG3, that was more injury concerned. I don't think he wasn't the first pick. Andrew Luck was injury concerned, right? And he retired early. He was a first-round pick. Sam Bradford was the first overall pick. That was a bust, and it's looking like Bryce Young is going to be a bust. So I'm going to say no. I don't believe that to be the case. But if you want to feel like that, a bust at least for the Lions, and you just came up, okay, look, if you want to put that, for sure. Because our expectations we got Stafford was, we're going to win playoff games and we're going to win Super Bowls. We didn't win playoff games and we didn't win Super Bowls. That's not necessarily all of his fault at all, right? But if you want to, I don't consider him a bust. If you want to, and if your gauge is, I have to win a playoff game to not be a bust. Look, I get it. If that's what it is. But I consider Stafford going to LA and then winning a Super Bowl, show him that he was a pretty good quarterback, right? But to which his own. I don't think he is, but I'm not going to get all, angry at you if you think he is. Caleb Williams, primed to be a Donna bust. So this is my thing. I think when it comes to bust, too, it's generally your attitude and, probably injury, right? So for him, it's not injury, it's attitude. And it does feel like, at least when I hear him speak, he seems like a diva. Okay, I'm not saying he is. I'm not inside there. The Chicago Bears, their coaches and players know way more than me. Outside looking in, that's what I think. That his diva mentality could make it that way. Maybe he's not. Maybe we overreact. Maybe what we're seeing, is way up of an overreaction. I don't know. Yeah, I did convoys in Iraq. That's what I did from Kuwait to Iraq. Did it every day. I did that for a year. I was a convoy commander for ASV, and we would take trucks through Iraq and get them to their destinations and hope no IDs and pop shots and all that lovely stuff that you deal with doesn't happen. That's what I did. That was my job. Okay. Outside the wire. You're inside the wire when you sleep and play video games outside the wire when you're doing your convoy security. And that was in 2008. So it's not like it was 2001 or 2000. We went to Iraq, was it 2002? Okay, I think that's when we invaded. So it was just, about a year after 9/11, we hit Afghanistan. I tell you what, though, my old unit that I left in 2008. My body just couldn't deal with it no more. Political, I think there's politics in at least in my unit, and I got tired of it. And then I think it was a year or two later, my unit that I went in, that I was with, they went to Afghanistan, and my former, he used to be my gunner when we were training, but not in Iraq, but before Iraq. His Humvee got flipped and he lost both his arms. He's actually the first American veteran to have a double arm transplant, and I'm very proud of him. I seen it. Man, and that was years ago when he got his transplant. I was just thinking the other day, you know, how is it doing? You know, how is because I've never seen a double arm transplant before. You know, I seen him moving. He was actually like, he legitimately was moving fingers and arms, and that was years ago, so, you know, maybe it got better. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect at all. Like, he's going to be dealing with issues forever, mobile issues with arms. There's no way it can be perfect, but my God, to even be able to have that happen is just, you know, first off, is a tragedy for him, but it's a blessing as well, you know, to have something like that happen. So, you know, those are the real heroes, folks. I ain't no goddamn hero. That is a hero right there. My buddy Lund, that's a hero. My buddy Jackson, who broke his spine, had a major concussion when that convoy hit, is a hero. Okay, those are the heroes. So thank them for what they did. That's real. That's the real S. They got in the real stuff. So, and that's a bad situation. So, and they got to deal with it for the rest of their lives, and that's something that I don't have to deal with for the rest of my life. I'm not a hero. That's a hero. They got to deal with that every single day. And so heroes are my girlfriend's father, Vietnam veteran. All right? That's a hero. Legit hero. He's built of steel. My dad did 2 tours in Vietnam. That's a hero. My grandfather stormed the beaches of Normandy. Both of my grandfathers. Those are heroes. I'm not a hero. Let's see. A bunch of country club running the Lions back then. We had no chance of a winning culture. Yeah, 100%. And look, we had issues there, but there is a caveat to that, because in 2014 our defense was ranked 2. Our offense was good. It wasn't like it is now. We should have won that game in Dallas. Okay, the Pettigrew flag was BS. Stafford should have won that game. Okay, and I'm going to say that till the day I die. That should have been a win for the Detroit Lions. Right there. That should have been a win for the Detroit Lions. Let's see here. Do you think that Giovanni Manu will be utilized a lot this season? Not at all. I don't think he may not even see a snap unless it's an extra lineman for a running. I don't see him being a backup like if Taylor Decker goes down, it's not going to be Manu this year. It would be probably Dan Skipper, right? Maybe Colby Sorsdale. He is really raw. He's physically gifted, but really raw. He's going to be Broderick Martin 2.0. That's this year's Broderick Martin, okay? And it's okay. Now we're at a point with this football team to where you can take a little bit riskier on players in the 4th or 5th round, right? 3rd, 4th, 5th round that have extreme athletic ability, but they just haven't had a lot of playing time in college or whatever, right? So, and that's what Broderick Martin was last year. He's going to get playing time this year, right? Giovanni Manu is probably going to be sitting on the bench, and then next year he's going to have opportunity, and that's fine. Not everybody can be a stud. Like, it's okay. That's how you develop. It's development. The process of finding talent in a draft, development, and let them explode. Afutu Melifonwu, Derek Barnes, Kirby Joseph. These guys are prime examples of that. You can even go a little bit of Jerry Jacobs, even though he's not on the team anymore, but he was undrafted, right? He sucked last year, at least halfway through, but you've seen development, a player get better from what they were in college into the NFL. It's going up. How many times have we drafted players before this regime where you draft them and it's like this? There's no improvement. Now it's like this. There's improvement. And so that's what I stress on my channel. Development. Don't rip on these guys. Don't kill Broderick Martin. Don't kill, look, Terry Arnold's going to screw up this year. He's going to make mistakes. He's not going to be a bust. He is a rookie. They're young. They're 20, 21 years old. Think about you at 20, 21, then going into an NFL where you're dealing with adults, okay? So if they make mistakes this year, it's okay. If rookies make mistakes, it's okay. The world's not going to end. If they don't play much, the world's not going to end. It's developing. We want these players, whoever the players are going to be, on the field when they are ready. Do it the right way. That's what we're doing. Brad Holmes is an OG. You guys know this. You guys are here every week. Every single one of you. It's preaching to the choir. Literally, Bo Booth says, development is the key. See, like, you guys know it right here. It's not much. I preach to the choir, but then you get a lot of people who watch who, again, are not Lions fans to where they're watching every move they make. They are, Lions on Sunday, can't wait. They may not even know who's all on a roster, right? They may just know a couple players like a Jared Goff or St. Brown. Doesn't mean they're not Lions fans. They're just not diehards. Like, they live and breathe it like a lot of people are. And so then they'll understand a little bit more. That's my key for this here for sure. So that's what I got on this one. And, we've been on for a show for about an hour, and I appreciate everybody hanging out. Guess what? Preseason's coming up in a couple weeks. What does that mean, folks? We are back to play-by-play Detroit Lions versus team. We love game day on this channel. We explode here. I'm super stoked and ready for it. And so, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you say the Dern is cool. Make sure of all of this. And with all of that said, I'll leave you with the greatest words ever. Adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.